Good morning, friends. Today I'm going to start a new topic, that is Java network programming. Under the roof of Java network programming, I'm going to start the new chapter. The name is Introduction to the Networking. Okay. Uh, this is the part where we can communicate multiple computers with each other through the Java network programming. Okay. Some of the points I'm going to cover under the roof of the introduction to the networking, that are basic network concepts. Networks means what, how networks are communicate, and how networks can be built, layers of networks. Okay. Layers of networks, IP, TCP, UDP, what does it mean? Internet, client and server model in detail. Internet standards, which standards are used while using the internet, or which policies can be used, or which institutes are taken the initiative while developing internet. We're going to discuss. Next one is a basic web concepts, that are URI, HTML, SGML, XML, HTTP, MIME, media types, and server side programming. There are lots of things, lots of network concepts I'm going to discuss in a brief section. Okay, let's start. The basic network concepts. Actually, what is by network? नेटवर्क होता क्या है? ओके, तो वो नेटवर्क के बारे में हम इस कंसेप्ट में जानेंगे. So what is in by networks? When multiple computers or more than two computers are communicating with each other through the wired media or wireless media. Okay, just for sending or receiving information from one computer to another computer. That is called as a network. Okay, the network is broadly categorized in two types, that is intranet and internet, that we'll discuss in later sessions. But network is something called where multiple computers are attached with each other just for sending information or using resources of each other. Okay, resources are mainly files is the one of the resource, memory is another resource, input output devices, and CPU. These four types are the resources or devices which we have to share amongst computers on network. Okay, let's start in detail. Some of the points which I think important that are listed below. The network, a network is a collection of computers. Okay, obviously network is nothing but a collection of computers and other devices that can send data to and receive data from one another more or less in a real time. Okay, इसका मतलब यही होता है कि नेटवर्क का मतलब है कि मल्टीपल कंप्यूटर्स जब एक दूसरे से कनेक्ट हो जाते हैं just because of to receive and send information. Okay, or share some resources. Network is often connected by wires, and the beat of data are turned into electromagnetic waves that move through the wires. ओके, जब भी हमें नेटवर्क्स या हमें जब भी कंप्यूटर्स एक दूसरे से कम्युनिकेट करने होते हैं, there are two methods. One is a wired media or wireless media. Wired media is means we have to connect them through the wires, and wireless, that is a Wi-Fi or where we cannot use wires. Okay, these wires or wireless media have electromagnetic waves which are transferred from one computer to another. Okay, however, wireless network transmit data using a radio waves. Okay, most of the time wireless networks जो भी हम use करते हैं उसमें radio waves रहते हैं. Actually there are lots of waves. Radio waves है, infrared है, lasers है, electromagnetic waves है. Lots of waves are there through which we can say transmit our data from one computer to another. Most long distance transmissions are now carried over fiber optics. Okay, actually we know that what is a fiber optics? Fiber optics is nothing but a cable which is used to transmit data by using a light technology. Okay, that is a light technology. Light is the fastest, okay, media where we can transmit our data. Light waves through the glass filaments. Actually, the fiber optic contain the glass filaments through which we can transmit our data by using with the help of lights. Each machine on network is called as a node. Node resources, computer, or what we can say as terminals are the alternate names of a computers or node. Most nodes are computers, but printers, routers, bridges, gateways, dumb terminals also be a nodes. Okay, these are we can say these are the nodes also. Device, each and every devices which is connected to the network is called as a node. Okay, node that are fully functional computers are also called as a host. Fully functional, that means the computer which having the memory, CPU, input output devices, or files, everything with it is called as a host. Okay, every network node has an address. That is the important part. Every network node is nothing but a computer. What we said is that in computer, every computer have its own address, that is IP address. Okay, sequence of bytes that uniquely identifies it. Okay, उसमें क्या होता है, बहुत सारे sequences होते हैं, that will be discussed in next session. Addresses are assigned differently on different kinds of networks. Okay, बहुत सारी टेक्निक्स होती है एड्रेसेस को डिफाइन करने के, वो भी हम अगले सेशन में जानने वाले हैं. व्हाट डज इट एड्रेस डू and how addresses are useful while communicate with multiple computers on a network, that will be discussed in next chapter or next session. Okay, next one is, actually there are lots of types or techniques, what we can say that these are the techniques through which we can we can connect multiple computer to each other. Okay, some of them are the techniques that are called as the topologies. Okay, the types of network topologies. Actually, what is a network? Network is a multiple computers are communicated with each other through the cables or wireless media. Okay, next one is a topology. What is meant by topology? This is also a techniques through which uh, we can connect multiple computers. Okay, one is the bus topology, tree topology, star topology, mesh topology, hybrid topology, ring topology. These all these topologies are discussed in the DCN chapter. DCN, that is a data communication networking subject. Okay, ring topology means this look like this. There are some computers connected to each other in a ring format. Mesh topology means each and every computer, each and every computer is connected to another computer through a individual cables, that is called as a mesh topology. Star topology, there is some hub called as a device is called as a hub. Through hub, every computer can communicate with each other. That is a fully connected, that means each and every computer is connected to other computer through the individual cable. Next one is a line, that is called as a the one that there is some wire through which we can communicate multiple computers. Next one is a tree. Trees look like this. And bus is mostly used in offices and educational organizations. Some common wire is there or cable is there, and through that cables multiple computers are communicated with each other. Okay, these are the just logical things, or what we can say that is physically how this is the techniques through which we can easily understand how our computers can communicate with each other. Okay, next one is these are again just a tree diagram. The networks can be a LAN. Okay, LAN is a local area network. That means if I want to communicate, if I want to connect minimum 10 or 15 computers, then I can use LAN network. If I want to increase that area, that is a metropolitan area, so one city and another city, if I want to communicate these two cities through that network that is called as a MAN. That is like a WAN. WAN is a wide area network, wireless media internetwork, that is the internet. Internet is a global network where each and every devices are connected through the internet just for transmitting or receiving some information. Okay, these are the just what we can say, these are the network techniques, or what we call it, these are the just networking topologies through which we can communicate, which can connect multiple computers to each other. The next one is next one, some important points. Okay, when we communicate or when we connect multiple computers to each other, there are some access or how data can be transmitted or received. There are some techniques, access techniques. Okay, the all modern computer networks are packet switching networks. Actually, what does it mean? Packet switching का मतलब होता है कि if there are lots of big data is there, and that big data is just segregated, or what we can say, we have to partition all the data, or we have to packet some data. Okay, and that data is transmitted from one computer to another through the packet. Okay, what is a packet? Packet is the smallest unit, okay, of a memory. On that memory we have to save our data, and that packet is transmitted through the network to the computer. Okay, मतलब बड़ा डेटा जो होता है उसे हम क्या करते हैं, छोटे छोटे डेटा में ट्रांसमिट करते हैं, छोटे छोटे डेटा के उसके पैकेट्स बनाते हैं, और वो पैकेट्स वी कैन ट्रांसमिट ऑन अ नेटवर्क. Data traveling on network is broken into chunks called as a packets. जो भी बड़ा बड़ा जो नेटवर्क्स होता है, बड़े बड़े जो डेटा होता है, उस डेटा को हम क्या करते हैं, ब्रोकन आउट करते हैं, उसके छोटे 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 पैकेट्स बनाते हैं, और each and every packets is transmitted on a network. That packet is called as a sorry, that chunk of the group of memory or group of data is called as a packet, and each packet is handled separately. Each packets contain informations about who sent it and where it going. That means sending or source address should be there, and source and destination address. Actually, packet contains both addresses. That is a source address from where the data is going to be sent, up to where or to whom data is going to send. That is the destination address should be there. The most important advantages of breaking data into individual addresses. Packet is the packets from many ongoing extensions can travel on the wire. Okay, एक्चुअली जो भी वायर होता है या फिर केबल होता है, जो भी कंप्यूटर्स कनेक्ट किया जाता है, उसमें बहुत सारे पैकेट्स क्या होते हैं, मूविंग होते हैं, एक जगह से दूसरी जगह पे क्या होते हैं, हम ट्रांसमिट करते हैं, विच मेक्स इट मच चीपर टू बिल्ड अ नेटवर्क. मेनी कंप्यूटर कैन शेयर द सेम वायर विदाउट अ इंटरफेरिंग. भरपूर असे कंप्युटर्स असतात जे काय करतात, हे जे वायर्स असतात ते वायर पण शेअर करू शकतात, आणि थ्रू दॅट शेअरिंग ऑफ दॅट वायर वी कॅन send our lots of information in a packet that is called a chunks of a group of information can be transmitted from one computer to another easily. Okay, there are lots of techniques also there. I'm not going to give a deep detail according to of that information, just because it is out of the scope of the syllabus. I'm just going to give you some overview of networking, and then after we are going to move the programming part of a Java, how to communicate or how to server or client are communicate with each other through the programming, socket programmings and all these programs. Okay. यहाँ पे दो कंप्यूटर्स है जो कम्युनिकेट करते हैं एक दूसरे से. Just this computer is trying to sending some informations to another computer. Okay, तो जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन है वो इंफॉर्मेशन, these are the computers, और ये भी क्या है, डिवाइसेस है. जो डिवाइसेस में से हमें क्या मिल रहा है, हमारा इंफॉर्मेशन जो है ए कंप्यूटर से बी कंप्यूटर तक पहुंचना चाहिए, तो वो पहुंच रहा है. जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन है वो डिवाइडेड की हुए पैकेट्स में। सपोज यहाँ पे पैकेट 1 है और ये पैकेट 2 है, तो ये पैकेट जो जा रहा है नेटवर्किंग उसको जिस रूट्स जो मिलता है, जो ट्रैफिक नहीं है जिस रूट से, वो रूट से वो क्या कर सकता है, हमारा इंफॉर्मेशन सेंड कर सकता है। तो यहाँ से एक पैकेट हमने यहाँ से भेजा है तो यहाँ से होके यहाँ पे जाएगा। सिमिलर वे सेकेंड जो पैकेट है मे बी वो दूसरा रूट ले सकता है, या फिर यहाँ से अगर ये जो रूट है ये अगर यहाँ पे ट्रॅफिक नाही आहे तो वो यहाँ से भी जा सकता है. म्हणजे जे काय डेटा असते तो डेटा आपण काय केलेला आहे, डिवाइड केलेला आहे इंटू पॅकेट्स मध्ये, आणि तो पॅकेट काय होतो जिथे ट्रॅफिक जाम नसेल नेटवर्किंग मध्ये, नेटवर्क मध्ये, तिथून तो डेटा काय होतो ट्रान्समिट केला जातो इझिली. ओके, नेक्स्ट वन इज तो ये जो हमने देखा है व्हाट इज कॉल्ड एज दॅट इज अ नेटवर्क. ओके, आता जे दोन कम्प्युटर्स असतील और मोर दॅन 2 कम्प्युटर्स आर कम्युनिकेटेड थ्रू इच अदर बाय यूजिंग सम लेयर टेक्नोलॉजी. Okay, there are some layers. Okay, directly they cannot communicate with each other. Okay, there are some rules, regulations, or some protocols are there. Should all the computers should follow this protocol to communicate with each other. Okay, so I'm going to discuss about the layers of network. There are some net layers. Okay, sending data across a network is a complex operation. Okay, एक कंप्यूटर से दूसरे कंप्यूटर को डेटा सेंड करना है, दैट इज नॉट इजी टास्क. ओके, there are some layers of protocols, okay, that must be carefully turned to the physical characteristics of network as well as the logical characteristics of data being sent. There are some techniques, okay, that there are some characteristics while sending or transmitting data through the physical हो या फिर logical हो. Software that send data across a network must understand how to avoid collision between the packets. Actually होता क्या है, suppose यहाँ पे दो computers हैं, there are two computers, okay, and they are connected to each other. If this computer trying to send some data as at the same time the second one is also trying to send some data, what happen, there might be a chances that packets or data can be collide with each other, and due to collision some data can be damaged or corrupt. Okay, so we have to take some care of while sending data from one computer to another. There are some techniques through which we can overcome such kind of problems. Okay, one of these is called as a carrier sensing, carrier detecting. Lots of techniques are there. Okay, I'm not going to give a deep knowledge about that. Next one is converting digital data to analog signals. Okay, जो भी data होता है, actually our computer can only understand digital data, and the data is transmitted through the cable, that is a analog signal. Analog is nothing but a waveform signals. Okay, we have to convert these waveform signals into a digital signals to understand our computer. Okay, detecting and correcting error. If there are some while sending error is introduced into a packet, that error should be corrected. Route packets from one host to another, and much more things are there. The process is further complicated when the requirement to multiple send all sorts of multiple operating systems. Actually heterogeneous network cabling is added. Suppose there are some conditions. If this computer having a Windows operating system, if this computer having a Mac operating system, they are not able to communicate directly. Okay, now not easily they can communicate with each other because there are different platforms are there, or what we can say, if suppose there are lots of networks which are heterogeneous. Heterogeneous means different networks are there. Okay, if I want to join one network to another network, it's not that much possible. Okay, it is possible, but that is not that much not possible. We have to take some help from the layers. Okay, at layers or protocols, what we can say it. Okay, so what does it mean, what protocol should we follow, or what are the protocols while useful while communicate multiple computers to each other? So let's take a look. There are lots of protocols working behind when we communicate with each other. Just take a look. First protocol is the SOAP protocol. I'm going to detail description about these protocols and abbreviations and all the information regarding these short forms. XML, RPC, REST APIs. Okay, take a look. What is a SOAP protocol? Okay, SOAP is a simple object access protocol. What does it do? It transmit a message or messaging protocol where if I want to I want to send some messages from one computer to another or one device to another, then the protocol which help me to sending some information or messages, that is a SOAP protocol, the simple object access protocol. Next one is XML RPC, that's extended markup language remote procedure call. Okay, remote is nothing but through the internet, or what we can say the multiple computers on the internet. If I want to send some information, or when call a procedure or function available on the remote computer, that time I have to use XML RPC protocol. Next one is the REST APIs, that representational state transfer application program interface. Okay, the service will transfer a representation of request resources state to the client system. Okay, trace route, display the possible route path in the measuring the transmit delay of packets. These are the displaying the possible routes. If I want to send some packets from one computer to another, the how many routes are there and which is the best route, that is can be calculated by using traceout. Next one is the ping. I think everyone knows the ping command is used when the multiple computers are connected on a network, and if they are reachable to the network or not. If I want to check it, I have to use ping command. Next one is the ICMP, that's the Internet Control Message Protocol, again to send error messages or check is there any kind of errors is introduced in our network or not. Next one is the FTP, File Transfer Protocol. Okay, the transmission of files from one server to client or client to client or anywhere. That is FTP is mostly used protocol while we transmit some files through the network or internet. HTTP is the biggest protocol, or what we can say is a major useful, or which is the most widely used while transferring information, that is the hypertext transfer protocol. HTTP is a foundation of data communication of the World Wide Web. Okay, while we using internet or when we are transmitting some data from internet from one computer to another computer, then we have to use HTTP or HTTPS. S is the secure line in nowadays. Socials, that is SSL, social security layer. Okay, and that I'm going to discuss in next session. Next one is the SMTP, simple mail transfer protocol. That is useful for electronic mail transmission. Whatever the mails we are going to transmit, that with the help of this protocol. TCP, transmission control protocol. Yes, this is one of the most important, that is transmission of data or informations on through the internet. DNS, domain name system. Okay, we cannot remember the IP addresses of computers. So that instead of this we have to use naming system of computers so that we can easily communicate one computer to another computer, that is a domain name system. NFS, network file system, distributed file system protocol. Okay, that means centralized or client server architectures. On that basis we can use NFS. Next one is UDP, user datagram protocol. Again, this is actually connectionless oriented protocol to send messages. What is the connectionless and connection oriented protocol? I'm going to discuss in next slide. Next one is IP. Yes, internet protocol is the most important, that is a principal communication protocol, that is from this point the protocols is developed. What we can say that IP is the most important internet protocol. Next one is the ARP, address resolution protocol, communication protocol used for discovering a link layer addresses. Okay, through this protocol we can communicate one computer to another computer. Next one is a PPP, post office, or sorry, point to point protocol. That is point to point communication is means multiple computers are communicated each another with individual cable, okay, and for the communication purpose. Next is a wireless fidelity, that is a Wi-Fi. Everyone knows Wi-Fi. Why should we use Wi-Fi? Okay, wireless network. Next one is Ethernet. Ethernet is a nothing but if I want to communicate, if I want to connect 10 or 15, or my organization require some network, then I strongly recommend Ethernet. They connecting devices in wired local area network, LAN, or wide area network. Okay, internet is a global network, everyone knows about this. Okay, these are some protocols. These are the some, there are lots of protocols are there. Okay, but some protocols where we can use while communicating multiple devices on network. Okay, next one is, here is the diagram. Okay, SOAP and ping, FET, these are the some protocols when we create some network. Okay, and when we communicate multiple computers to each other, these protocols are helpful for us to make our communication softly. Okay, next one is yes, the next topic is layer of network. Here is an actual diagram through which we can understand how one computer is communicated with another. Okay, these are the layers. Okay, assume that this is computer A and this is computer B, and if I want to join this computer, there are two ways, that is a physical path and is a logical path. Logical is means when we just put a cable between the two computer, that is okay, that we think that is okay, that now our computer is connected to each other, but not that is easy. That is not be the only part while communicating multiple computers. Okay, so what actually happened with that? Let's talk about this. Actually, there are some layers. Okay, lots of layers are there. First layer is application layer. Next one is a transport layer. Another one is a internet layer. Next, physical path. Again, another computer having same kind of layers, protocols, application layer, transport layer, and internet layer. I'm going to discuss about every layer in great detail. Just I'm going to give us some brief discussion. I'm going to give you some brief information, then going to be a start in a great detail. Okay, actually what happened when two computers are joined together through the cable, that is a physical path. Okay, that could be a wire, that could be Ethernet, that could be a wireless, Wi-Fi, ETL, or anything. Okay, that this computer is communicated with this by using this physical path. Okay, suppose actually this layer, application layer, is a interface layer. What we can say, this layer is displayed to the customer or the end user or the user of a computer, so that he can work with this layer and send some information or instruction to the next layer. Okay, the application layer is a user interface. Okay, here application layer is only communicate with transport layer. Transport layer is used to transmit some data. It takes a data from application layer and give it to the internet layer. Okay, and there are some protocols which are mostly used while communicating. These are the TCP and UDP, transmission control protocol, user datagram protocol. Transport layer only communicate with application layer and internet layer. Next one is the internet layer. So see all the protocols and take some data from all the instructions given from the application layer to the transport layer. Transport layer give some instructions or data to the internet layer. It it that is a IP. It takes all the information and transmit it through the physical part to the another computer. Also, first internet layer, it's take all the information whatever sent through the computer A. Okay, just read, errors, check, and everything. There are some functions in the internet layer. Okay, that function is completed. After that completion of task, all the data is given to the transport layer. Transport layer also communicate and with internet layer and take all the information regarding the receiver end. Okay, and regarding all the information, and that information is transmitted to the application layer, that is a user interface. Okay, and that application layer is display whatever the data is sent from the computer A to computer B. Okay, that is the actual what we can say pathway or the flow of a data from one layer to another layer to next, another level layer. Okay, and each layer having some functions or some rules, uh, and these rules should be followed by that data. Then and then only they can communicate with each other. Otherwise, the data can be lost. Okay, so we are going to discuss all these layers in a great detail. Wait a minute. Okay, applications like Firefox or a web browser, whatever we are using, run in the application layer. Okay, the application layer is a user interface layer. Suppose I want to send some information from one computer to another computer, and I have some Firefox or browser, any kind of browser. Just I have to open it and give some information to that application layer and talk only the transport layer. Okay, application layer, that is talk only the transport layer. Next one is the transport layer, talks only the application layer and the internet layer. Okay, the which we have already discussed in the diagram. Next one is internet layer. In a turn, talk only the host to network layer and the transport layer, never directly to the application layer. Host to network layer moves the data across a wire. Okay, that is a physical path. Okay, whatever the information given by the internet protocol, it taken by the wires or the physical layer and transmitted over to the next computer. That wire can be a could be a fiber optics, or what we can say that coaxial cable or twisted pair or shielded, unshielded, all lots of wires can be used while communicating with multiple computers. Other medium to the network host layers on the remote system, when then moves the data up layers to the applications on the remote system. Okay. Next one, here is the host to network layer, that is a physical layer. Okay, in diagram I'm going to start with this layer first, host to network layer, then I'm going to start next layer. Okay, first one is host to network layer. What is going to this? That is a wired media or wireless can be. Host to network layer, also known as the link layer, data link layer, or network interface layer. Actually, host to network having this kind of layers: link layer, data link layer, or network interface layer. Host to network layer defines how a particular network interface, means one computer communicate with another by using this interface, such as Ethernet card. There might be some Ethernet card or Wi-Fi antenna, send IP datagrams over this physical communication to the local network and the world. Okay, through the IP address we can communicate or connect to the receiving point or sending point. The part of the host to the network layer made up of the hardware that connects different computers. Okay, multiple computers are connected through this part. Okay, by using wires, fiber optics cables, radio waves, or smoke signals. So something called a physical layer of the network. The physical layer is nothing but a cable which is connected to the computer. Okay, that is a suppose source computer, that is a destination computer. If I want to send some data from one computer to another computer, I'm going to send some data through the cable. Okay, that cable is called as a physical layer. Okay, that could be a wire, fiber optics wire could be there, or that could be a radio waves. Okay, next one is the internet layer. Okay, also called as a network layer. What is the internet layer? In OSI model or ISO model, the internet layer goes by more generic name network layer. Actually, the internet layer is also called as a network layer. Network layer protocol defines how bit and bytes of data are organized into a larger group called as a packets, and addressing scheme by which different mechanism or machine find one another. That means where this protocol is used to make packets, and that packets can be transmitted from one computer to another. The packets could be a bits or bytes. Okay, the large data group is divided into a small packets, and that packets are transmitted over the network. Okay, next, internet protocol is most widely used network layer protocol in the world and the only network layer protocol Java understand. Okay, uh, internet protocol is the mostly useful. Okay, most useful while communicate with each other, and Java understand this protocol in a very well manner. In fact, there are two protocols, that is IPv4 and IPv6. Okay, IPv4 means internet protocol version 4, which uses 32-bit addresses mode to transmit data, and next one is a advanced version, that is the IPv6, which is use 128-bit addresses, add fewer other technical features as well with the routing. That means we can transmit much more information by using IPv6. Okay, we can communicate multiple computers. This is most advanced version of IPv6 IP protocols. Both IPv6 IPv4 data is sent across the internet layer is called as a datagrams. Okay, again, that packets which contain information is called as a datagrams. Okay, datagrams is nothing but a container which holds information which is useful for sending from source to destination computer. Okay, next is transport layer. Okay, what actually do transport layer? The raw datagram have some drawbacks. Okay, most notably, there is no guarantee that they will be delivered. Actually, what happens when one computer transmits some data into the packets could be damaged, or there can be loss of some packets. Okay, or could be a corrupt due to some reasons. Okay, even if they are delivered, they may have been corrupted in transit. Okay, that there are some reasons, or there are some problems occurs, and some kind of packets can be corrupted while transmitting. The header checksum can only detect corruptions in the header. Okay, in transport layer there is a checksum bit which is useful to detect is that packet is corrupted or not. Okay, not in the data portions of datagram. Finally, even if the datagram arrives uncorrupted, they do not necessarily arrive in order, okay, in which they were sent. Actually, what happened when we make a group of large data into a chunks, that is called as a package. There are lots of packages are there. Okay, if suppose I want to send 10 MB data, okay, and I created 1 MB packets and try to send these packets on a network. They are not, suppose that packet number is 1, another is 2, another next one is 3. It is not ensure that each packet is transmit in a sequential way. There can be a the 10 number packet could be reached first, 9 one is next. If first packet could be reached in a last, okay, there is no sequential data transmission is there. Individual datagram may follow different routes from source to destination. Just because datagram A is sent before a datagram B does not mean that a datagram A will arrive before the datagram B. Okay, there are lots of packages are there, datagrams are there, and if I try to send it in sequential manner, it won't ensure us that the data is transmitted or received by the destination computer in a sequential way. Okay, transport layer is responsible for ensuring that packet is received in order they were sent and no data is lost, corrupted. The transport layer having a responsibility to ensure that each and every packet should be received by the destination computer in a, and the receiving manner should be in a order. Okay, if the packet is lost, the transmit layer can ask the sender to retransmit the packets. Some condition, some kind of packages could be lost or might be corrupted. So here is the transport layer responsibility. He asks to the sender, please retransmit that packet so that it can be reached to the destination part. IP network implements this by adding an additional header datagram that contains more information. Okay, actually what uh, actually packet is nothing but a frame, or a datagram is nothing but a frame having some special compartment, and each compartment having some kind of information the data is transmitting, or source address or destination address, and data, actual data which I want to transmit, or lots of bits are there. Some, suppose if some packets is lost, okay, the each packets having some unique number, okay, that number and the destination portion in the destination computer, if that packet is not received, then it is responsibility of transport layer to ask sender to retransmit this packet again. Okay, there are two primary protocols in this level. There are two protocols which help us to transmit the data. First is a TCP, that is a transmission control protocol, which is broadly used in widely used while transmitting data. The high overhead protocol that allows for transmission of lost or corrupted data and deliver of bytes in order they were sent. TCP protocol having responsibility to transmit data in a order that is for first come that is first packet, second packet, or datagram, first datagram, second datagram, and to the whatever we call it, destination computer. Here again, next responsibility of TCP is guaranteed data transmission is the most important part. Okay, TCP gives the guarantee that or whatever data you are going to transmit from A computer to B computer, the B computer 100% receive that data. Okay, TCP, if some portion is corrupted, TCP also responsible to take responsibility to retransmit that data, okay, to the end user. The TCP is most widely used and guarantee, it gives the guarantee or reliable protocol. Okay, what we can say, it is a reliable protocol. Next one is a second protocol is user datagram protocol, which is unreliable protocol, but it is the fastest. It is a slower data transmission protocol. It is a fast data transmission protocol, but it is not guaranteed that each and every packet could be reached to the end destination. allows the receiver to detect corrupted packets but does not guarantee that packets are delivered in the correct order or at all. Okay, it's not give guarantee that each and every packet would be reached to the end user. Okay, UDP is often much faster than TCP. Okay, UDP is faster than TCP. TCP is called as a reliable protocol, and UDP is called as a unreliable protocol. Okay, why should we call unreliable protocol? Just because he is not going to take responsibility that each and every packet will received by the end user. Okay, he is going to transmit all the packets, but if some condition arises or some kind of error arises while sending some information, some kind of datagram could be damaged, he is not going to retransmit that package to the end user. He just transmit a data. Okay, he's not going to take any kind of responsibility. The data could be sent in an order format, or data 100% will be reached to the end user or the receiver. That's why we can say that UDP is unreliable protocol, and TCP is more reliable, but it is a slow transmission of packets or data. Okay, the next one is application layer. That is the last layer. What is the application layer? The layer that delivers data to the user is called as application layer. Actually, application layer is a user interface through which we can communicate with other layers. Okay, whatever the information I want to transmit from one computer to destination part, that the instruction is given through this layer. Okay, the application layer decide what to do with the data after it transmitted. That are the HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol, or web pages. Web, there is lots of protocols: SMTP, simple mail transfer protocol; post office protocol; IMP, IMAP for email; FTP, FSP, TFTP. These are lots of protocols are there which help us to transfer data from one end to another. NFS for file access; Nutella and BitTorrent for the file sharing; session in initiative protocols; SIP and Skype for voice communication, and many more protocols are there. Each and every protocol is having some rules which having some responsibility to transmit the data from source to destination while communicating multiple computers on the network. Okay, hopefully you understood each and every point regarding the layers of a technology. Okay, next concept is, okay, the IP, the internet protocol. There are some brief or what we can say, it's a detailed information regarding the IP. What is the internet protocol and how we are using this internet protocol from the first on in earlier days, and why IP is most important, and lots of things are there. We are going to, what is actually IP, I'm going to discuss about this by using this slide. IP had to be open and platform independent. That is most important. That is open source and platform independent. Any kind of information or any kind of computers can communicate with each other by using IP, internet protocol. It was developed with the military sponsorship during the Cold War. Okay, and ended up with lots of features that military was interested in. Okay, that is the first protocol, I think, which is useful while Cold War by IP addresses and domain names. What does it mean? IP address is nothing but a numbers in a quad format, and domain name, that numbers are transmitted into the alphabets or a string format. Okay, because we cannot remember the IP addresses of each and every computer or devices, but we can easily remember that is a name. Okay, every computers on IPv4 network is identify the 4-byte numbers. Okay, that is a dotted quad format. This is normally written in a dotted quad format like this: 199 1 point or something. Okay, I think everyone knows this point. This is the IP address where each of these four number is one unsigned byte ranging from 0 to 255. Okay, the every point this numbers it starts from 0 to 225. This one is also 0 to 25, 225, 225. These are the just numbers which helps you to communicate or connect multiple devices on a network. Okay, you can connect multiple millions of computers by using this protocol. Every computer attached to the IPv4 networks has unique 4-byte address. Every device, not even computer, every device, mobile, routers, everyone having some unique number. Okay, that is called as the IP. When data is transmitted across the network, the packet's header includes the address of the machine for which the packet is intended. That means each and every packet should have sender and receiver IP address. Okay, so that it can be easy to transmit a data. Okay, destination address and the address of the machine that send the packet is source address. Each and every packet that is datagram or packet contains source address and destination address, so that can be easily identified from where to where data is transmitted. Next one is routers along the way shows the best route on which to send the packet by inspecting the destination address. Okay, routers are also the devices which help us to send packets from one computer to another computer. The source address is included, so the recipient will know who to reply to. If suppose this A computer is trying to transmit data to the B computer, then that destination address or destination computer should know from where data is received, from which computer data is received, and also the sender computers also know to where data is going. Okay, that's why the sending and receiving address IP address should be there. IPv4 which will use 16-byte addresses. Okay, IPv4 uses 4-byte number system, and IPv6 is the upgraded versions of IP that uses 16-byte addresses. Okay, here is a quad format. Quad, that means there is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Therefore it's called as a quad format. Here is a IPv6 is a updated versions of the IPv4 which uses the 16-bit addresses. Okay, that means that is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and each and every contains 4 bits. Okay, 4 bytes. This provides the enough IP address to identify the each and every on the earth. Every computer, every devices are connected through the internet. Each and every should get unique IP address that could be possible by using this protocol or this version, IP version v6. IPv6 addresses are customized, written in 8 blocks, 4 hexadecimal digits separated by the colon. This look like this. IPv6 look like this. Therefore, the domain name system DNS, this is the most important part. No one can remember such kind of number easily. Okay, there are lots of numbers and no one is, it is not possible, it's not physically possible that a person can remember such kind of long numbers. That's why the new system is developed that called the domain name system. We have to convert this name number into a name format. Okay, was developed in translate host name that human can remember, such as www.orally.com or numeric internet address. This IP address is converted into a naming convention. Okay, called as a DNS. DNS or domain name system. That is the IP address, and no one can remember such kind of IP address. So that we have to convert this IP address into a naming system. Now the name is www.orally.com orelay.com, everyone can understand and can be remembered by the person, the name. Okay, just we are trying to fetch this website, just putting this name on the address bar, and we can connect that computer through this name by using IP address. Okay. This is the IP protocol, that is the IP version or internet protocol. Next one is a port. Yes, when we trying to connect multiple computers to each other, okay, then we have to take two most important information, that is the IP address and next one is a port number. Okay, IP address is a physically and port numbers are totally a logical part. Okay, there are lots of ports. Each computer with IP address have several thousand logical ports. There are lots of logical ports are there. That is per transport layer protocol to be a 65535 to be precise. Okay, that is a per transport layer. Okay, there are pure abstractions. It is totally imaginary in the computer memory and do not represent anything physical like USB port. USB port, that is a totally different part, and it is a logical port. Okay, each port is identified the number between 1 to 65535. Each port can be allocated to a particular service. Actually, each port having some meaning or having some responsibility to serve such kind of work from that port. Just for example, HTTP, the underlying protocol of web, communicate using port 80, that is a local port. Through this port I can communicate HTTP protocols, okay, in localhost. You can say web server listen on port 80 for incoming connection. When data is to be sent on web server on a particular machine at particular IP address, then I have to put port number so that they can communicate the specific port is nothing but a way or what we call a path through which we can transmit a data from one computer to next one. The receiver checks each packet is seized for the port and send a data to any program that is listened to the port. This is this is how different types of traffics are sorted out. Suppose there are some ports, that is port 1, port 2, port 3. Suppose I want to send some email from one computer to next one, then I use this port. If I want to take printout, I use the next one port. If I want to share some information, then I use next port. There are lots of ports so that no data is collide to each other. Okay, port number between 1 to 103 or 23 are reserved for well-known services like FTP, HTTP. These are the reserved ports, and these reserved ports, other than ports, other numbers we can use to make a ports and transmit data through that port. Okay, hopefully you understood all these points. If any kind of problem arises, you can comment in comment section so that I can get back all your queries in great detail. Okay, next one is TCP, that is a transmission control protocol. Okay, before that I'm going to discuss about protocols are broadly categorized in two types, that are the connection oriented and connectionless protocol. Actually, what is this? Connectionless means what and connection oriented means what? When we're trying to transmit some data from one computer to another computer, there should be a some there should be a that should be a block, some path, so that that block path can transmit one data to transmit. For example, just take a look. If there is one computer, next one is another computer, and he's trying to send some data from one computer to another computer, then this path is blocked by the protocol until and unless that all the information is transmitted from one computer to another computer. No one can communicate this computer or this computer until and unless all the data is transmitted from one computer to another computer. This this line is totally a काय block, that is called as a connection oriented protocol. म्हणजे काय असतं की सपोज मला एखाद्याचा फोन आम्ही एखाद्याशी बोलतो आहे, कॉल करतोय एखादा, सपोज मी मोबाईलवर कोणाशी बोलतोय आणि मला जर कोणाचा फोन आला तर त्याला ते पीजी टोन जाणार. जोपर्यंत माझं कम्युनिकेशन कम्प्लीट होत नाही, until and unless my communication is complete, no one can communicate with me. Okay, that is blocking of the path until and unless all the data is transmitted. Is called as a connection oriented. And in a reverse manner, when someone is trying to communicate with me, then I am able to communicate another one also. Okay, that means की फॉर एक्झाम्पल मला जर कोणाशी बोलायचं आहे, मी कोणाशी बोलतो आहे किंवा मी एका डेटा आहे मी ट्रान्समिट करून मला एखादा मेसेज आहे, मी एक मेसेज सेंड करून टाकला, तो मेसेज हा चालला जाईल. आय एम नॉट गोइंग टू बी बिझी फॉर रिसिव्हिंग अनदर मेसेजेस. ओके, that is called as a connection-less protocol. Okay, hopefully you understood connection oriented and connection-less. The TCP was layered on top of IP, given each and end of a communication able to acknowledge received IP packets and request transmission for loss of corrupt packages. TCP is most reliable protocol which is used to transmit data in a guaranteed receiving to the end. Okay, it gives guarantee, it's having responsibility to each packet should be transmitted to the end protocol, sorry, end or receiver. Okay, if some problem arises and some kind of data is corrupted in between cables or whatever the path, then it asks the sender to retransmit the data. Okay, TCP is most reliable. TCP allows a package to put back again together on receiving end in a same order they were sent. TCP is responsible. It takes responsibility. All the data is transmit in a same order, same order as a sender is transmitted to the end user. Okay. Next one is a most reliable. It is a connection oriented protocol. As I said, it is a reliable connection oriented. Okay, that is called as the TCP, transmission control protocol. Next one is UDP, datagram protocol. That is a UDP protocol. Okay, what does it mean, UDP? It is totally opposite of TCP. Okay, what does it? It is a connectionless protocol. It's not give any kind of responsibility. It's not take any kind of responsibility, or it's just a send a message, okay, to the receiving end. It's not guaranteed that data will receive to the end user or not. Okay, that is user datagram protocol. Packets are sometimes sent without the guarantees. Okay, TCP provides using the UDP protocol. If I want to send some information in a faster way, and I can tolerate some data can be in middle path, some data could be corrupted, or I don't mind it. So I used to send the data by using this kind of protocol. Okay, UDP is an unreliable protocol that does not guarantee that packet would arrive at their destination, or they will arrive in the same order or they were sent. Example, losing a few bits from a video or audio signal won't cause much degradation. Okay, if I want to send some pictures, okay, or audios or videos, some bits might be damaged, so it won't be get a much more what we can say, the effect on that information. Okay, so media or videos or large kind of data which is which I want to transmit from one computer to next one, then I prefer UDP better than TCP. Okay, TCP takes time to transmit data. It would be a bigger problem if you had to wait for a protocol like TCP to request a transmission of missing data. Furthermore, error correction code can be built on UDP data stream and application level to account for missing data. Okay, the number of other protocols can run on top of IP. The most commonly requested ICMP, the Internet Control Message Protocol, which uses the IP datagram to relay error message between the host. Okay, so the baseline is UDP is unreliable, connectionless protocol, is not take any kind of responsibility that all the packet which the sender is trying to send to the receiver. Okay, and mostly this protocol is useful for sending videos or audios or pictures, so that if some kind of beats may get corrupted, it won't affect that data. Okay, uh, next one is internet. Okay, everyone knows what is the internet. Okay, here is a diagram or what is abstraction of the internet. The internet is the wide area network. Okay, that means every computers on the earth can communicate with each other through the internet. Internet is the world largest IP based network. Okay, the internet is a collection of a computer that share information. Everyone knows that home users commonly use phone modem, cables modem, or DSL connection to communicate or connect to the internet. Okay, we take an internet broadband, baseband, or whatever. The internet or ISP, internet service provider, connect the home users to other computer. Okay, everyone knows the ISP, internet service provider. Suppose Hathaway is there, lots of providers are there to which companies are there to provide us internet. uh, the files that are transmitted over the internet are called as the web pages. Okay, the internet is a system that interconnects the different computer system across the world. It uses the internet protocol suites to link devices located in different corners of the world. Okay, we can communicate one computer which is located in far away from another computer, that could be possible by using internet. Okay, internet system carries an extensive range of information resources and services, including web world wide web. Okay, www, telephony, electromagnetic waves, electronic mails, emails, Skype, communications, telecommunications, lots of ways through which we can communicate. It uses standard internet protocols such as the TCP, IP, HTTP, SMTP, lots of protocols already we have discussed all these protocols. These protocols is useful or helpful to communicate multiple computers through the across the world. Okay, that is internet. Yes, the next concept is client server model. In most companies or most organization prefer such kind of model. That is, suppose let's see, that is a server. Okay, and there are lots of computers. Okay, so what happens when all the computers are taking information from the server and work on that information, and after the completion of work, they also save all the information to the server is the most powerful computer. Okay, which having lots of um, security. Okay, so that security, it can secure all the information or data. Okay, and the server is through server we can distribute our information on multiple computers. Okay, let's see how it works. Okay, that is a server and that is a client. Here is a port number of through which the client is trying to communicate with the server. The server port number is 80. He's trying to communicate first of all, he want to ask some request that to communicate with server. The client initiate the connection to the known port on the server from whichever port is available on the client. The client port number, through this port number, he's trying to communicate with this server by using this port number. he first send request to server to connect first. Okay, server firstly server check the port is valid or not. If it is a valid port, then he's saying that yes, your request is granted, now you can communicate with the server. If the port is not valid, he totally rejected to connect this client. Okay, this next one is same. This ports is output through this port. The client is trying to send some information on server. Server is trying to give output um, to the client. Okay, the communication is started by using these port numbers. Okay, the server accept the connections, input and output streams are connected to the sockets on the specific port. That is called as a client server model. How it works, then just we need to communicate to different computers only two things, that is the IP address and port number. Through this IP address and port number we can communicate multiple computers, okay, in a proper way. Hopefully you understood the client server model. Next one is the descriptions, which I already told you. Client server applications typically store large quantity of data on extensive high powerful servers or cloud of servers. Okay, it is a expensive computer or most powerful computer, what we can say. It's having a lots of power. It takes all the information from different computers and save to it. And whenever computers require that information, it's trying to provide them. While most of the program logics and user interface is handled by the client server running on a relatively cheap personal computer. Okay, the cheap computers, that means the other computers which are connected to server, that is a client. That clients don't have any kind of powerful mechanism. They're just taking some information from server and trying to process on that, and after the completion of, they are also trying to save all the data onto the server so that anyone can use that information in a real time. In most cases, server primarily send data while a client primarily receive it. But if it is rare for one program to send or receive exclusively. More reliable distinctions is that the client initiates a conversions while a server wait for the client to start conversion with it. Okay, server is trying to server actually wait to communicate connect first client, and as soon as it connected to the client, it's ready to transmit all the data, whatever the requirements of the client, it will fulfill by the server in a well manner. Okay. The next one is internet standards. Okay, actually the internet standards or the protocols, whatever we have already discussed, all these protocols and standards are organized by the institutes. Okay, these institutes are called as a standards, or they just have some policies regarding the protocols. These policies are organized or developed by the some institutes or some organization. That is called as the internet standards. We are going to discuss about this in a brief detail. There are many standard organizations in the world. The two most popular or product of most standard relevant of applications layer network programming and protocols are there. These two organizations are or protocols developed by the organizations are the Internet Engineering Task Force, IETF, and next one is the World Wide Web Consortium, W3C. IETF standards include TCP, IP, MIME, SMTP, all the protocols, policies, and the upgradations, all kind of information is taken the responsibility by the IETF. Next one is the W3C, by the contrast in one vendor organization. Okay, controlled by the dues paying member or corporations, explicitly including the participations by the individuals. W3 tries to define the standards of advance, that is the HTTP, HTML, XML. All these protocols or languages are trying to develop by the W3 standards. Okay, these are the just brief introductions about this two what we can say, that is organizations which help us to communicate in a most effective manner. Okay. Next next concept is actually basic web concepts. Okay. In the basic web concepts, I'm going to discuss about URIs, what is meant by URIs, HTML, HTML is means what, XML is what is the XML, HTTP is means what, MI, ME or media types or server side programming, what does it mean? All these points will be covered in this section that is called as a basic web concepts. Okay. Again, I'm going to give a great details, or we have some classes, how URIs or URL works and their classes and the subclasses, constructors. All these things will be discussed in the next chapter in a great detail. I'm going to just give you a brief introduction about these concepts. Okay, just take a look. First is the URI. The URI is nothing but a uniform resource identifiers. Okay, we have three kinds of URL, URI, URN. URI for identifiers, L for locators, and for name. Okay, the first one is a URI. URI is a uniform resource identifier. Is useful for identify the resources while surfing on a or on a website. Okay, on an internet. That means is a string of characters in particular syntax that identify the resources. Okay, that could be a server, files on a server, that could be email addresses, that could be a news messages. Okay, whatever the information, if you want to search on the internet, we use URIs. Okay, the URI is a collection of characters, and the characters contain the file name, email address, messages, all the information which required to identify the resources on the internet. Okay. Next one is URI. How URI is work and what is the syntax of the URI? Just let's take a look. Here is a scheme. Next one is colon and the scheme specific part. The current scheme includes data, file, FTP, HTTP. That could be a protocol. Okay, the mail to telnet, URN, and lots of things are there in a scheme part. Next one is the scheme specifier. That could be not be fixed. That could be changed. Okay, syntax of the scheme, the specific part depends on the schemes being used. Okay, this is not a fixed part, that could be a changed as per the situation. Okay, take a look. The scheme specific part, there is no specific syntax that applies to the scheme specific parts of all URIs. However, many have a hierarchical forms look like this: authority, path, queries, lots of things are there in a schematic part. Okay. Next one is URI example. Here is example. HTTP is a scheme, that is a protocol, and next one is a total path. Okay, where the actual the jump.mp3 file is stored. This is a path, and to this path I can share the information or receive the information. Okay, or that is a authority or path or whatever you can say. Next one is the URN and URL. Okay, URN and URL is a part of URI also. This is a URI is a what we can say, it is not that much upgraded version, but URL is upgraded versions of URI. Just that is URL is a pointer to the particular resources on the internet at a particular location. It shows the location. Okay, URL is the name of particular resources, but without referring to the particular location. It just gives the name without location, and location URL gives the names and the location in particular way. URL has a general format: URN, namespace. Next is resources name. Namespace is the names of collections of certain kinds of resources maintained by the some authority. Okay, URN. Resources names, that should be the file name could be there, or whatever the resources you want to find on the internet, you have to give it to them. Okay, next one is here is the example. For example, URN, ISBN number, identify the resources on the ISBN, you know that book, unique number. Okay, that is a number, of course. It just directly put directly search this number on the internet, and we can easily identify it. Okay, next one is a URL, which is most advanced version of URI. URL identify the locations of resources on the internet. The specific protocol used to access the server is the FTP, HTTP. Lots of protocols are useful. That is nothing but just what we can say, it is upgraded versions of URI. Okay, servers. And then syntax of URI, this protocol should be there. And next one is port number. Also we can give the port numbers, and what we domain, path, file name, queries. All this protocol is another words of that called as a scheme of URI. Host name, part of the URL, name of the server that provides the resources you want. Your name, username, and password could be there. And port number is an optional, but port number is useful to search it in a fastest way. And next one is example is again there. The third example, the query format. Lots of parts there. We are going to discuss all the part of URL in a next chapter in a great detail, with its classes and how it works, and how the Java is useful, how Java uses the URLs to get information regarding the URLs and all these things. Okay, so I will take a look on there. Next one is a HTML, HTML, and XML. These are the web components. Okay, if you want to create some web pages on internet, so we have to use some tags. That is the HTML tags. Everyone knows HTML, HTML, and XML. HTML is the primary format used for the internet document. HTML, simple standard for describing the semantic contents of the textual data. HTML is the hypertext markup protocol. And next one is the SGML. It is actually earlier versions of HTML. Okay, the idea of describing the text semantics rather than its appearing comes from older standard called as a standard generalized markup language. Okay, it is an older version of what we can say that is HTML. HTML is the upgraded standard of HTML, is the instance of HTML. HTML is actually inherited from the HTML. Okay, HTML and by inheritance, HTMLs are based on the notations of design by the meaning of rather than designing by appearance. Actually, HTML contains a lots of tags. Through that tags, we can describe or we can design web pages. Okay, then just take a look. Some tags H1, EM, I emphasize. I'm not going to give you a great detail information about the HTML tags, just because it is out of the scope of this syllabus. I'm going to give you a brief idea what is the HTML. If you want to know everything about HTML, you can search it on Google. Okay, you can search all the tags regarding the HTML tag. Here are some tags. Okay, just for brief introduction. That is a strong tag. That is also strong. We can the one of the most important part is it is a totally case sensitive. Sorry, it is not a case sensitive. Okay, you can write in capital ways, small or init cap or any format. All the names are same. Okay, every tag should end it with this ender tag. Strong, that should be ended with like this. Emphasize it should be ended with this, and lots of tags are there, should be ended with a / and with the same tag. Okay, that means it is a starting and ending of the HTML tags. Next one is again that HTML tags are there. Okay, every HTML tag we have some attributes or properties through which we can design our syntax statements or images or whatever in a proper way through these attributes. Just take a look. Here is H1, that is heading. Alignment, give center. It means it will give a specific font and put this sentence in a central portion of the web page. Okay, there are lots of attributes are there. Alignment, left, right, justified, and family, font, and lots of attributes are there. Okay, Next one is XML. Okay, XML is extended markup language. Okay, it is also the nothing but a HTML, but XML is a special version of HTML which gives you gives you the power to create your own tag. Okay, semantic language of allow the pages author to create element they needed rather than relying on few fixed. It is not a fixed part. It gives you the authority to create your own tags in your own ideas and put it on the web pages. Okay, just take a look. If I want to create a manufacturer tag, I can create it by using HTML. Here is some examples. Okay, that product name and name, versions, and all these things. This is an XML file. Okay, it look like HTML. Okay, obviously it started with less than and greater than angular brackets. Okay, ended with its appropriate ended attributes. Okay, advantages. XML is another advantage over HTML. Okay, HTML can be a quite sloppy. Elements are open but not closed. Attributes value may or not be enclosed in quotes. XML layouts are very strict requirements for the syntax as well as the form XML documents. And it requires that the browser reject all the malformed documents. Okay, actually XML is inherited from HTML. All the parts which we learn in HTML is already enabled in the XML, and having some powerful tools, we can create our own attributes or attributes tags. Next one is the DTD, the documentation type definition. If that shows that which kind of documentation or which kind of web pages you are trying to develop, we have to just define it first. Okay, XML document may have a DTD which can impose additional constraints on the valid documentation. DTD may require every product elements contains exactly the one name element. Okay, just key, or what we can say is a tag through which we can declare what kind of language we are going to use while developing a web pages. Okay, next one is the HTTP, totally a protocol. It is not a web page element. HTTP hypertext transfer protocol is used to serve or used to browse web pages on a web browser. Okay, mostly useful. Is a standard protocol for communicating between a web browsers and web pages or web servers. HTTP specifies how a client and server establish a connection, how the client requests data from server, how the server responds to the request, and finally how the connection is closed. Okay, everything whatever you are going to do with web pages, you have to use HTTP. Okay, it is his responsibility to every thing should be transmitted in a proper way. Okay, that's why HTTP uses TCP and IP protocols while transmitting information from one server to another server. Actually, there are 4 steps: making the connection, making the request, the response, closing the connection. This task should be followed by the HTTP protocol. Okay. The making the connections through the port or IP address. Next one is the making a request to the server. Please, it asks server to please allow me to connect and take all the information from the server to the client. It also uses the GET and all the informations regarding this. HTTP request examples look like this: GET, index, that is a page name, and the version. If the server is if accepted, it gives all the information in text format or plain text format, images. All these things are useful or for creating while using HTTP. These are the HTTP request heads. Okay, request headers look like this, and the end response. When the server is ready to communicate with the client, then he sends all the responses or whatever the request is asked by the client. He tries to fulfill all the requirements, and he sends all the informations regarding the query or request by the client. Okay, next one is it look like this. HTTP response. HTTP's response is in the format of HTML tags. Okay, and give it to the customer or the web browser. Response code look like this. Closing connection. Okay, each and every time we have to close the connection. There are some versions and lots of things, and regarding to HTTP, I'm going to give the detailed discussions in the next chapter. HTTP protocols, classes, and everything. Okay, the next one is the MIME media types, that is a multi-purpose internet mail extension. Okay, here is another internet mail extension, open standard for sending multi-part multimedia data transfer through internet email. Email is handled by the MIME. Describe the file's content so that a client software can tell the difference between the different kinds of data. For example, MIME browsers. This mail extensions, you can transmit your mails information through the mailing system. Okay, types of subtypes are there. MIME supports more than 100 predefined types of contents. Content types are classified into two levels, that is type and subtypes. There are subtypes of their MIME. Type shows the very generally what kind of data is connected. Is it to a picture, text, or movies? Lots of things are JPG. What kind of data is transmitting through the mail? We have to submit it all the information through this extension. Okay, there are some examples of HTML. Okay, server-side programming is the last point. Okay, server-side programming programs. Okay, lots of server-side programs are there. Okay, just everyone knows the servers are IIS or WAM servers, XAMPP servers are there, or Oracle servers are there. Lots of services are useful for communicating to the computer. These days, many web pages are not served from the static files on the hard drive. Okay, all the files are kept in a server. Okay, so that everyone is access that files at any point. Okay, through the internet. The most widely used in Java, that is a Java servlet page or JSP. Most of the languages are useful for server-side programming, that is C, C++, or PHP. There are server-side programming through which we can create server pages or communication in softly. So here is the detailed information regarding the Java network programming or introduction to the network. In the next lecture or next series, next videos, upcoming sessions, I'm going to discuss about how the socket programming work and which programs are useful while communicating with computers, one computer to another computer. And we are going to create one application which will communicate. Okay, that is a client server architecture that will create a chat box or a chat room. I'm going to create through the Java networking. Okay, hopefully I think you understood each and every points. If any kind of problem arises or any points is not understood by in a clear way, you can put your comment in comment section so that I will get back all your comments. Or if you think there should be some kind of information is lacking, you can put your suggestion in your comment section so that I will take care in next slides or next upcoming sessions to cover all the points regarding to the networking. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.